Manny Pacquiao may be proof that the search never ends. It was more than a decade ago that he ascended to his sport's highest pantheon, becoming an icon around the world, a symbol for what the ring could make possible. And now, at the age of 40, he's still welcoming all challenges. Like the fellow champion looking to close the book on Pacquiao's legend for good. They called Keith Thurman One Time, a commentary on the power of just one of his punches. He's never lost a professional fight. And now, he's ready and eager for his biggest one yet, offering the chance to topple a giant.
Manny Pacquiao does not intimidate me. I have too much for him to handle. I'm coming for the living legend.
Kid talk too much.
You take him to school.
I'm a teacher in the ring. We'll teach him.
Their time these days is singularly devoted to one another, to the pursuit of preparing themselves for the clash that awaits, of steeling themselves for the latest opportunity their sport has given them to move forward, and to talk back to the silent but ever-present voice of time. This is Fight Camp.
How does that not get you hyped? I'm talking about, felt my nipples getting hard. Ooh, 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 ooh. 20 days away. It is July the 1st, 2019. Oh, I got a clock up there. 8:08 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. This is episode 1 of PBC Fight Camp. So to equate it to something, to remind you of the past. Remember HBO 24/7? How good they used to be? Well, I did like PBC Fight Camp, Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence. And what I'm getting from it, or Errol Spence versus Mikey Garcia, hold up, my bad, is it's a free TV version, so it's only but so far they can go. But however, the content and the quality is just as high as the reigning king, Showtime All Access. It's not better than Showtime All Access, because as you know, Showtime All Access comes on Showtime, which is uncut. It's for mature audiences. This is for free TV. So this episode premiered yesterday after the first episode of after PBC Face to Face with Manny Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman, which I did a recap review of. So the second part is likely going to come on this weekend. I'm going to make sure I do a preview video to make sure I to let you know exactly when it's going to come on. So I'm predicting that after the first episode, which was the 30th, I'm predicting that number 2 would be out this weekend, and they'll do one the week before the fight. So 3 episodes, maybe 4 in total, 1 after the fight. So I have been reading a lot of comments, not only on my channel, but on the channels of other people, and just, you know, looking at the disrespect Keith Thurman is getting. And don't get me wrong, my heart is seeing that Manny Pacquiao is going to lose. But people who have been watching me for years and years know, they will tell you, oh shit, if T Street go with his heart, then that means pick the other side. So does that mean Keith Thurman gonna, does that mean Manny Pacquiao gonna win and Keith Thurman gonna lose? It's a 50-50 fight. Manny Pacquiao is no average 40-year-old. You know, dude is still a beast. And this is the first full-fledged, in his prime, power puncher that he has fought. I mean, I'm not counting Timothy Bradley. Marquez knocked him out, but I'm talking about a full-fledged young in his prime. He may not be as fast as Manny Pacquiao, but he has a very, very high ring IQ. Keith Thurman ain't no joke. The good thing is, I don't think Pacquiao's going to retire immediately afterwards unless he gets, like, brutally knocked out. I'm talking about if he was to lose, I don't think he's going to retire. I want to see Pacquiao win 2 more fights, and I want to see him hang him up. Ticket sales are going well. Got a chance to check him out earlier. And I've been hearing some good things, looking like they are heading for a sellout. PBC has been having some issues. People have been saying overpricing tickets, not just fans, but people in the business. So it seems as though they're working this out. One of the issues, wait a minute, I still got to watch the episode. We're going to do a jump cut. I'm T Street Controversy with FightView360.com. Please subscribe. Stay tuned. The week of the fight, I'm going to be launching my first podcast. So I've decided that I'm not going to build my podcast off of guests, but there are going to be guests on the show. And we're going to be here live after Pacquiao Thurman with highlights, post-fight press conference. We're going to be here all night, baby. We're going to be right back.
Come on, champ.
Just over 2,500 miles away, we find 30-year-old Keith Thurman in the gym, where his work ethic is matched only by his ability to wax nostalgic about his journey to the top of the welterweight division.
We got a saying in boxing: champions aren't created overnight. It takes a long time to create a champion. When I dropped out of school at 16 years old, a lot of people weren't sure if I was making the right decision. But I knew that I wasn't going to be on. But I knew at 16 years old, a lot of.
You know, I was shocked when I found out several years ago that he was a high school dropout. A lot of boxers went that route, and you can tell he's a very spiritually and mentally enlightened dude. So therefore, you know, I dropped out at one point in time. I dropped out in the 10th grade. I went back for my GED when I was 18, then went off to college after that. But you'll see that he's going to talk about choosing a different education. And look, multimillionaire, he trains at LA Fitness. You know, not a big entourage, not a jewelry guy. You can't tell me Keith Thurman don't still have all his money or a good portion of it. He drives a Prius. I mean, he got his Mustang still, you know, which caused him some issues in the past, but, you know, pretty grounded guy. Let's look at his resume, though. Now, for the casual boxing fans, I can understand that Keith Thurman didn't look good against Jose Zito. It is bright. Let's go full screen. Shit. That light out of my face. There we go. I can understand how fans, you know, may feel like, well, look, you know, it's Jose Zito Lopez. He went life and death with him in, you know, round 7. You know, I get where y'all coming from, but look at the layoff. Okay, let's just look right here, right? The first inaugural, no, wait, he wasn't the first. Was Keith Thurman versus Robert Guerrero the first PBC show ever? Or was it Danny Garcia, Lamont Peterson? I think it was Keith Thurman versus Robert Guerrero. But anyway, this was a very, very tough fight at the time. And a lot of people thought that Robert Guerrero didn't want to fight him because, you know, he still was trying to cash in, you know, on being that Mayweather competition, or he had lost to Mayweather. So, moving on, had that very tough fight against Luis Collazo, where we really saw him get into some trouble. Now, we saw him in some trouble a couple of years before that against Diego Chavez. I've covered all these fights, by the way. But not like he really was when he had fought Luis Collazo, where he looked vulnerable from a body shot. After, you know, just fighting Robert Guerrero a few months before, so he was on that very active PBC schedule. Then had that big layoff before he fought Sean Porter. Remember, he was supposed to fight after Luis Collazo. He was supposed to fight Sean Porter in November or December, or so I believe it was December. But he had gotten into a car accident, you know, with the Mustang, and that's what prolonged the fight. So as you can see, he takes another long layoff, almost a year, and fights Danny Garcia. He talks about openly how his elbow got shattered. I forgot whether he said it was from him punching Danny Garcia. No, Danny Garcia punching him in the arm, right? Or was it the other way around, him punching Danny Garcia? I think it was the other way around. So there you see damn near a 2-year layoff. That's crazy that man was off that long. Getting himself together, rehabbing. And now, former WBC champion, former unified champion, by the way. Remember, he gave up his belt so Danny Garcia and Sean Porter can fight for it. Let's listen in a little more. But dude is not no, you know, joke. Yeah, we saw him in trouble against Sean Porter. He was on the bike against Danny Garcia. And Jose Zito Lopez, we knew that was going to be a tough fight for him, for a comeback fight. And that was a name that was lingering around for him since they were even talking about him coming back. And now he's getting Manny Pacquiao. Does Manny Pacquiao think that he's easy work? Does Manny Pacquiao look at that resume and say like, oh shit, he almost lost to Jose Zito Lopez? Or the casual fans, not lost, but he was having some issues with Jose Zito Lopez. Are the casual fans thinking the same thing? Like, well, if he had, you know, styles make fights, and the level of the caliber of, or the caliber of a fight can bring out the best in a fighter. I do have some concerns, though, but it would be a feather in his cap if he is doing this whole Manny Pacquiao training camp with probably not a strength and conditioning coach, because all the footage we see of him is him, you know, working the mitts is usually him, somebody holding the camera, the trainer, you know. This dude is an enigma.
People weren't sure if I was making the right decision. But I knew that I wasn't going to be uneducated. I was just taking a different path of education. America's a land of opportunity. I saw an opportunity to live a dream. As soon as I dropped out of high school, the local newspaper came in and they wrote about me. And we have that same article up here today. See what the headline said here? The headline reads, Young Boxer Navigating a Narrow Path. Keith Thurman, 15, is focused on being one of the few to reach the Olympics. School's a lower priority. Right there, at 15 years old. The day I turned 16, I handed my books in. And when you turn your books in, you have to present them to the head principal. He said, do you really want to put all your eggs in one basket? My comment was, you don't know how good my basket looks. I watched both of my parents struggle working 9 to 5s. Yeah, it's a narrow path, but so is the gateway to heaven.
Jose Zito stepped in and clipped him with the left hook right on the tip of the chin.
But I knew he was tough.
Lopez is stalking him. He's starting to hunt down Thurman right now.
Oh, he's got him off balance. And Lopez hammering away.
He hurt Thurman with a left hook and a right hand.
The head knocked backwards.
Every fighter knows when they're getting rocked. The term that we use most commonly is your bell got rung, right? He rung my bell, and I was in survival mode. He does it again. Boom, snaps my head back. I'm like, that's not nice.
Ooh, that's a great right hand by Thurman right there.
Luckily, I was fully conscious, I was fully aware, and eventually I got back into the fight.
Oh, Thurman showing his stuff the last 3.
One thing for sure we can all agree on, right, is Manny Pacquiao's left hand is no myth, and you don't want to get your bell rung by Manny Pacquiao. So what they just did during this segment is they went into, it's called Fight Camp. So they went into both fighters' camps, and Freddie Roach seems to have now taken over as full trainer over Boo Boy in this camp. So if you don't know, Boo Boy trained Manny Pacquiao for what? Did he do, he didn't do Jeff Horn, but he did do Lucas Matisse, right? And then for Pacquiao versus Broner, Boo Boy seemed to be the head trainer. Now Freddie, I mean, it is, you know, a smart tactic, especially since this is such a big fight. But anyway, they're preparing for Keith Thurman to be on the back foot. I would think that Keith Thurman would be the pressure fighter in this case, right? But he is a counterpuncher. Would he try to want Manny Pacquiao to get too overzealous like he did with Marquez and then catch him with that left hook? Who knows? We are going to take the final break, and then we're going to wrap things up. I'm going to tell you what the schedule is going forward, or what I, talk about the undercard a little bit. Please subscribe. We're now 20 days away. Might as well say 19 since it's the 20th. I mean, since it's the 1st, right? You know, who wants to count today? T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. Please subscribe.
My primary
Okay,
focus
check this
here
out.
Training with is getting to 147, making sure the diet, nutrition, and training
This is on.
boils down to him making weight, and obviously giving a good performance when he fights Pacquiao. 2 more.
If I told you the mathematical formula of how much I get paid per pound, I'm pretty sure there'd be no fat people in the world.
Little break. Get some water back there.
Every pound that I lose is over 6 figures in the bank, man.
Defined by everything that's come before it.
As soon as I hit him one time, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna hit that respect button real quick.
The reconciliations, the evolutions, and the renewal of boxing's most fundamental premise. that a fighter has to give himself over to the pursuit completely to achieve the...
I liked it. You got to learn a lot more about Keith Thurman. They showed his wife. I didn't show those clips because you got to go watch it. So yeah, it should be on your DVR. I'm actually watching on the Fox Sports Go app. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I'm interested in part 2 and what they're going to show us because, you know, usually part 1 of something like this, you know, you delve into the fighter's background, training camp, you know, a little bit of press conference footage. And the second episode, we should see stuff that was going on last week and this week for the most part. Also expect for them to have a media call sometime in the next couple of weeks or so. So the undercard is going to be this. The fights I'm looking forward to, which is going to be on Free TV Fox, is going to be Caleb Plant versus Mike Lee. Efe Ajagba's in a showcase fight against an undefeated Ali Aren Demirazin. I'm looking forward to Sergey Limpinets versus John Molina Jr. No bullshit. And Yordenis Ugas versus Omar Figueroa Jr. But the only problem about that is, you know, I know they got a nice solid backup replacement just in case Omar Figueroa Jr. pull out because, you know, he was supposed to be in so many fights. He was in talks to fight Mikey Garcia at one point. Everything was actually signed and sealed for him to fight Adrian Broner. Pulled out. You know, a couple other fights before that, right, he was linked to. So pay-per-view $74.99. I'm actually going to put this link. I'm going to hook them up, put this link down below in the description box for those who want to watch on your phone, your tablet, Xbox. They got it everywhere. I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. So since it is Pac Thurman month, and it's going to be a lot of Pac Thurman content I'm going to be putting out. So of course there's certain things that I'm talking about in this video that I'm waiting, or that I want to talk about, or that I am going to wait to talk about in more videos, so we don't get too talking about the same shit in every video. So the next thing I want to, next video, especially probably for my Fight Camp episode 2 preview, is we want to talk about what's going on with this drug testing because I'm a little bit behind. So there is VADA testing, right? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. So like I said, I'm going to go check that out. I'm going to go get on it. The podcast is coming. I'm finalizing some things. You know, everything's going good. Please subscribe. I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live.